Hey, marketers. Good evening and welcome to the new episode of Dude What's Trending, a podcast by Talentella where we pick up on current trends in the marketing world, decipher them, and try and make sense of what is going on. This podcast is going to be extremely interesting for a couple of reasons. Real estate has, as a market, has always been a hard nut to crack for many marketers, and yet it is a sector that we just cannot ignore. It has immense potential and always bounces back, and is always the first. It's one of the first indicators that the economy is in good health again. Recently, there has been a surge of real estate investments urging us to ask the question that due to the pandemic, how has this industry evolved and how have the leaders of this industry readapted and redesigned their approach towards their customers? So, to discuss this, we have Ashish Kukreja, who's the founder and CEO of Homesify, one of the fastest growing companies in organized real estate advisory sector, and Pratik Chodia, director at Panchsheel Realty, one of India's finest luxury real estate developers.
Hi.
Hi, Ashish. Hi,
Hi,
Pratik.
hi, Sia.
Hi.
Welcome to the podcast. How are you guys?
Good, good. Thanks for having us.
It's completely our pleasure. So let's get right to it. So Ashish and Pratik, this question is for both of you, and it's just basically setting the base of what this conversation is about. So quite like every other sector, the real estate sector has gone digital too. So whether it is the buyer, the seller, or developer, the real estate sector has gone through a digital transformation quite a bit. Would you like to maybe just talk about that this much needed change?
I should take it first, Pratik.
Yes. Oh, please
Yeah,
go
go
ahead.
for it.
Sure. So, to sum it up, I think it was waiting to happen. It was sooner or later. And we all know for many other sectors, even for real estate, COVID came as a big enabler. We had to adopt to it. So when we were like right in middle of COVID, the customers. See, customers never thought that they will be able to take decisions on the video calls or having a fundamentally homes are not sold online. That's the global statement which you will see most of the stakeholders making, that you can't sell homes online. You have to feel the air, you have to touch the walls, and which still holds true. It's not that people go ahead, but what happened in this phase is that we traveled 2 3 years in matter of 3 6 months, because customer was ready to sort of trust anything which was offered to them on a digital sort of a window in terms of so I think to broadly tell you, the adoption moved very fast. Now we are just starting that journey, wherein India, just to sum it up again here, Sia, that India is many years behind in terms of how a transaction is structured. If you go to even some of the smaller countries near in Asia, or wherever, it's a very structured. In US, if you go, you can finish a transaction in 30 minutes. It's like that. You have to go at one place and everybody else comes at that room, and it's done. But when you are in India, you have to do 3 4 agreements, and so on and so forth. I think the best part of digitization, the journey ahead, is that in years to come, if not soon, the whole transaction experience will become more structured, and
Mhm.
always customer is king. So yeah.
Awesome. Pratik, what are your views on this?
So I think the digital push is actually has been very beneficial for the industry altogether. One is I feel that it's done really well in even helping make a sale, because when someone looks at properties online instead of going on foot searching houses, they may come to your house last. You might be tired already until a site visit. So
Right.
when you're doing it at the comfort of your home, there are different technologies like we've adopted. So you can see the home online. It's just you can walk in a 3D view, so you can feel and see the home online, sort of. So you already have shortlisted a few. So choosing two or three locations to go to, out of the ones you've seen, is much easier, much faster in making a decision. You're not confusing yourself with, what amenities are here, there. Then people are just confusing themselves. The locality, almost everyone is online. So it's
Mhm.
much easier to see it. You go to those two, three sites and you can close a deal faster, is what I feel. That this is the biggest push as far as the trust factor is concerned in real estate. RERA has, I think, helped in putting some trust back to the consumer, where they know that if nothing else, they have a proper body to bank on. So those things make it, it has made it much easier, and people who were compliant with RERA will sort of stick around for a longer time, and it'll become more organized. So I think
Right.
all in all, it's a good thing for the industry.
Okay, I definitely want to get back to the RERA topic later, but as of now, you definitely you mentioned that it kind of cuts down. So the going digital cuts down on the time that consumers have to expend finding something which they actually like. And from personal experience, I can tell you that you end up going through so many houses in a day sometimes that it gets too much to actually process. So one of the reasons, of course, that I think Panchasheel would do really well in this regard is because you already have like great houses and such a great brand trust already in the market. So um, how have you translated that digitally, apart from, as you said, 3D models of your house? Um, how have you captured the luxury brand and adapted it to the customer journey in the digital world?
So, I mean, when we're launching a project, there is a whole different approach where we're still doing some TV ads. We're still doing a lot of work on hoardings. In fact, we started hoardings also very recently, actually,
Right,
residential. So in sort of our lower segment product, which is still an upper upscale product in our portfolio, it is one of the lower end products. That the amount of walk-ins have increased. We've been able to sort of through our ads show. We ran a campaign for Panchil Towers, where we basically the video shows someone going, the entire experience of the apartment and stuff. We ran it digitally. It was there all over social media. Also, we ran the same ads in the TV campaigns. So those messages are still delivered through like advertisements that are video based.
hmm,
But other than that, we try and relate to everything luxury in the social media space. So instead of just doing our residential projects, also we showcase our hotels, our office parks, and that sort of gives the company's image, puts out the company's image much better. And so when you're making a decision, it's easier.
right. Okay, awesome. And Ashish, do you see any trends coming up in the near future or current trends that have changed the game for the better?
Yeah, of course. So I think, like I said, even see, they are the people who choose. So if they accept it that, they can, they are ready to sort of take a virtual tour and, sort of cover up that distance, in the journey. So it helps a lot. So in terms of trends, I can say that, more and more innovations will come in this domain, wherein we will be able to, have customers travel some distance on the transaction virtually. I'm not going too deep here, but I think that there's a lot which will happen here. And and going ahead, I think, like I said, that, it's the word is digitization, right? It's like you don't want to wait now for any authority to come and sort of to help us. You, as one of the stakeholders in the sector, you can push it, right? You can try to digitize something from your end. So for example, doing online, you doing those signs, on online, and you don't want customers to come to the to the location and do it. All that is acceptable now. Then going ahead, one would like to, for example, we have a plan to play with escrow accounts. Technically, I'm sure Pratik understands that, but you don't have to really go through many agreements, and so see, like I said, it's a journey ahead for us. We were many years behind on risk of being repetitive. I'm saying that, but good thing for us is we were not seeing it happening. Whenever we were trying something like this, we had a great pushback from customers, from developers. But now everybody's ready for it. Everybody's open to it.
Right.
So these trends are emerging, and I'm sure that uh, the underline, because it's all about real estate, this particular episode of yours. So see, we were in a dull phase for last many years. When I say dull phase, I would say that it was not going anywhere, so to speak. But like what just Pratik also shared, about RERA, many events happened in this sector. RERA came, GST happened, demonetization happened. There was an NBFC crisis. All this was so difficult for real estate sector. But when when it has sort of come out of these some key events, now it's a very, very strong sector. It is in a multi-year move. I'm giving you a fundamental perspective here, that now next 6 7 years, we see, there's a lot of consolidation in the sector, and apartment sizes are coming down, but the number of transactions have gone up. And after COVID, people don't want to adjust in their lives, right? They want to either upgrade, or make sure that they sort of, see, when you were in middle of COVID, and you were staying in a rental apartment, and you had this kind of a treatment which you were not expecting. So we have seen so many fence sitters coming out and buying their apartments last year, and we see that this trend will go on and on. And predict I must say, one of those sectors, people don't talk much about it. There's always air of negativity around real estate, but I think people like me and Pratik can tell you now that, after pharma in COVID, the pharma was one sector, because we all have to pop up those pills, right? But real estate is the next sector which is now sort of coming as a big gainer.
Yeah, I agree with that. In fact, we had thought that we will see, we'll have some trouble, because especially because of our price points, and it might get difficult. But actually, we were able to make a lot of sales through this time, because people were looking for an upgrade, and right from the top to the bottom. So everyone was upgrading, say, at least a bedroom in their apartment. A lot of people have upgraded. So sales throughout have been great. And when you are in the luxury segment and you are selling that lifestyle, it all sort of adds up, because you're thinking that I went through such a terrible time. Right now this might be better, so you're automatically sort of making buying decisions even faster
Kal ho na ho.
before the next lockdown.
Kal
Work
ho
from
na ho.
home has definitely helped.
Yeah, so
Nothing,
ready possession also,
kal
ready
ho na ho,
possession
aaj
has
hi le
been
lo.
sold. Ha.
Yeah.
What mostly sold was ready possession.
Hmm.
People wanted to move out quicker.
Yeah.
A lot of families that were living jointly also turned towards a more nuclear family side. So at least one part of the family moved out. So that also happened a lot.
Okay. And have you, Pratik, I've gotten a question in the side in the comments. Have you also seen the reduction of spaces that Ashish mentioned, in terms of like people don't mind compromising a little bit on the space, but they want their own homes and they want to like own more?
Depends, right? Our houses are typically larger.
Yes, that's why. Yeah.
So we I we didn't see any problem.
Hmm.
But as I said, that families were becoming nuclear. So if you're looking for, say, a 3,000 square foot apartment for six people, and you could sort of shift to 1,800 square feet with three. So it could have been that way. But people who want to spend money and still, who have disposable income and want to live in a good house, they definitely would have. Stamp duty reduction really helped last year.
Mhm.
So people suddenly started saving that 2-3% of stamp duty. Home loan rates went down, so they were able to spend a little more instead of paying taxes on themselves.
Right.
So all those things really helped a lot.
Super. Okay. And Ashish, I have a question for you again from the comments. You said that India has just started catching up to world trends when it comes to digitization in the real estate sector. How long do you think uh, this entire process will take till we catch up completely?
Oh, I'm sort of optimist by nature, so I can only say that every now and then you will see something happening in this sector, and just a bit of push is required from authorities, government as well. So we are in a stage of wherein we are talking about blockchains and stuff like that, and
Right.
it's something which can really help the sector a lot. And so if you sort of push me to give me a give you a timeline on this, but I think we'll be in a much different situation in couple of years, in terms of the way the transaction, the whole journey from a discovery to me moving in an apartment will have a very different approach in next couple of years. And it will be a bit by bit journey. So yeah, it cannot happen all, it's various people will come and try to disrupt it. We are doing our bit. I'm hopeful that a lot of other startups in ecosystem will also try to add to it. And I think the eventually we will see that it will be very different in next couple of years. Yes.
Right, that's a very interesting point, Ashish, because it kind of leads me to my next question. So, I mean, moments of moments of difficulty and change always gives rise to solutions, right? So, with that regard, for Ashish, you as well as Pratik, do you foresee any challenges that buyers and sellers might face due to this digital shift? And if so, maybe we can find solutions and think of how to combat them.
Pratik, you want to take first?
I don't think there are you know challenges as such. You need to, at least from a seller side, you need to consistently evolve and keep your buyers engaged. So running different campaigns and all, but that's something you need to do anyway.
Right.
If you're not ahead of the game in that, then you are going to be left behind, it like far behind at some point, right? So I don't think that transforming digitally is going to be any challenge. Other challenge, in fact, it's only better for us because, and I was just seeing some figures. We've got, say, around, coming back to my earlier point also, we had, say, around 8,600 leads in the last year, out of
Wow.
which 445 site visits were conducted and 40 units were sold. So what happens is that, say, not these 8,600 people, but that 445 number could have easily become 1,200 if people weren't already choosing where they want to go. And so in fact, it's not a challenge, it's much better for us.
Hmm.
It's we're catering to people who are seriously interested in our product already. So I don't see it as a challenge. As far as the buyer side is concerned, um, again, Rera helps a lot. You know that you have uploaded yourself on that. What you are showing online has to be in line with what you're delivering on site. So it's not going to be like I show you something else and deliver a completely different product. That does not happen anymore anyway. And that regulation really, I think, has helped in this whole digital transformation.
Yeah. So I think any adoption takes time, right? Yeah. So even for the customer, like I said, it's always about touch and feel. You want to do it. So if on the other side we try to convince customer that why don't you sort of do it virtually, but there will be always these late adoption customers who don't want to do it at all. They just do they feel it's being oversold to them if we are doing it too much online, right? They'll delay it unless they go and experience it personally. So that time is sort of not saved. I think different regions behave differently. We we are like, I keep saying this to my team, that we are like 4 or 5 Southeast Asian countries put together in India. Everywhere things. I know just now what Pratik said. Pune people are in habit of bigger size apartments, but
Yeah.
when you go to these lanes of Ghatkopar in Bombay, a, a, a livable apartment, is also a welcome sort of a
Right.
step for that. Just sort of perspective. But yes, there are two sections, right? There is always there, even luxury has done well. So like, that's what Pratik was telling. Luxury has done really well last year, amazingly well, because people, because of the space, want to go ahead. So I think another interesting element is the whole volatility around us. This wave, that wave. Unless we are not sort of settled in your mind, it's also a sort of I don't want to adopt, because see, trends are coming in. People are now looking to see that if they have something outside city, right? It's now, you may call it a trend or not,
Yes. Yeah.
but if you're not sure that is this going to be a full work from home, a hybrid work from home, or no work from home? It's still a lot of, we are in a so-called fragile environment. So as a customer, I'm not sort of sorted in my mind, let's say that, but still people are buying left, right, center because of because they're getting the price what they want. So I think challenges are the adoption bit, and people are also seeking stability, as in there is some stability in the life around us. And for people like us who are the stakeholders and participants, we have no other option. I started with that. We have no other option but to adopt. We are in an environment, we're in a world where we are not looking back now. We will see a lot of innovations, and digital is the way to go. Yeah.
Great. Okay.
Also, I just wanted to add something
Yeah.
quickly. We saw, I have certain friends who have, large companies that are catering to the middle, upper middle class sort of segment, and they run a loyalty program in house. But the digital transformation to just, with which they combat, like, they worked on it with during COVID and launched their platform. They had, activities going on online throughout the 3 4 months of the lockdown. That also created tremendous loyalty. So programs like these, when you're engaging your customer digitally even after the sale,
Yeah.
actually will help build far more loyalty, so the decision in the future of buying a home becomes even easier. So it's just not, the advertising bit, it's how you keep your customers engaged also. So that too turned online, which I think for some companies worked really really well.
So, what kind of customer loyalty programs are you talking about?
So they ran, different activities. They ran things like, talent shows online, or you had to create something within a few days. They run their, some people run their customer loyalty programs on these. So they give out vouchers, they'll give out Amazon vouchers, they'll give out, vouchers like, different kind of vouchers where you can spend those as you will. um, but it also brought that company's, community together. So various people living in various societies, people you did not even know before, you're sort of understanding the whole community that shares the same brand name. So that itself increases loyalty, and people keep talking about your company all the time, because they were discussing, "Arey, mere society mein aisa hua hai," or stuff like that. So it always makes a difference.
Yeah, it's engagement, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
basically
absolutely.
creating brand recall and just connecting with your customer beyond just
Hmm.
sale. Which Ashish, do you have anything to add to this,
No,
or
I think also very important that I think we are in a more connected world. We were already in a connected world, but people are spending more time on their machines. So I think. brand image, is very important. It's like the trust factor in real estate was always had a low score, and the brands were trying to, when you talk about Panchil, they always an image of a great brand, and giving good products. People relate to it in that region, about, they look forward to new offerings from Anjali. It takes years and years to build that kind of a name in the market, and so similarly, I think it is becoming more important because, see, you could get away. Pre-COVID days, but now you can't, because after this, you are, if one negative word spreads like a fire, so in this world, so you have to be extremely conscious about what you're offering and you're delivering it or not. So like that, yes.
Which brings me to my question of digital presence. So we kind of touched upon it a little bit. Having a digital presence is something that I don't think anybody can get away from anymore. It used to be the domain of B2C that has completely been thrown out of the window, and B2B companies um, definitely have to enter this space. But since real estate is, I mean, large part of real estate is B2C, and a large part is B2B as well. You are kind of on the cusp of the kind of digital presence that you have to build. So I'd love to know as to how your companies are doing this. What kind of platforms or methodologies have you all adopted in terms of social media, email marketing? Tell me all your secrets. Come on.
Ashish, you want to go?
All right. Okay. Sure.
Okay.
So, yeah, sure. So see, for us, we have few objectives in mind. It'll be very difficult to cover this up in a 2-3 minute question answer, but we have few objectives on our mind, and our digital strategy is linked with those objectives. So our objective is to have a world-class customer experience. Our objective is to make sure that if we do this business well. You just spoke about B2B. So there are these agents in the market, how to make them run their business efficiently well. This is one of our objectives. We want to be one of the best brokerages to work for in India. It's as simple as that. If you want to sort of enter in real estate domain, we should be the first name. It should come to your mind. So let's say these are three objectives in our mind. So our digital strategy is linked with all these strategies out there. So it's too deep a topics here. So for example, we are spending a lot how we educate our agents, right? Which is happening digitally. So this is our strategy to digitize whatever we can. Even if I could digitize me entering in my office and whatever, everything should be. That's the way we are looking at our objectives, right? So even for a B2B, we have created a platform where we are, for us, if we want to create a good customer experience, we have to create a good agent experience. Are you with me?
Yes.
So a happy agent is like a happy customer. So that's the way we are approaching this piece. Like I said, it's a too deep thing to cover up, but every possible thing can be digitized. We are investing a lot on our product to make sure that we do this. And on the customer side, for example, we are following our something called net promoter scores, NPS score. Every single visit which happens through us, we call that customers, and we go to every possible detail that why is that they are giving us less than 4 out of 5, if at all they are. So so this gives us cues what we can digitize, where we can, all this, for example, just to give you one example, all this led us to fasten our bot process. So we are right now, every customer gets a first message within 5 seconds of they putting a query, because we have our bot worked out. This happened because we were targeting a good customer experience as one of our measurements. So I can go on and on. So whatever can be digitized for these three objectives, we will do it. Yeah.
What about you, Pratik?
Yeah, I mean, see, almost 80% of our spend is on marketing spend is on digital.
Right.
We are realizing the value of it. I wouldn't say that we were very good at it, a few years ago, but definitely we've stepped up the game in terms of our engagement online, on all social media platforms, that would be Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. We are consistently there. We're consistently trying to push more and more, and you know get more presence. This has also been somewhat due to the market, because initially real estate, like a few 10 12 years ago, prices were increasing so fast. It was residential real estate was also a huge play for the investor market, say, yeah, about 15 years ago, where prices were doubling. People were making real good capital gains on their residential investments. uh, with time, that has come down, so a lot more end users are ending up buying homes rather than investors. So the approach has to change. That we know that most of our clients are there online, so we need to be there. We need to consistently keep people engaged, at least be present, be seen. So these things are have been really important, and we're working very hard towards being more and more robust digitally.
Awesome. Thank you so much, you guys. That was, I think, a very interesting conversation. I learned a lot, and I'm going to be doing a whole lot of research after this, trying to figure out how this sector is going to be growing, and how maybe digital marketing, can play a part in that. Um, so, like, thank you so much for giving us your time, and we will be following both Homesify and Punchil to see how you'll evolve even further.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye
sir.
bye.
Bye.